If you've watched my videos before, you know I'm extremely bullish on the Panini blockchain and just sports card NFTs in general. And not just the big hits like the golds and the kabooms. I'm talking the base cards because unlike the physical world, on the Panini blockchain, these sports card NFTs hold true transparency and real scarcity, which makes me feel like the upside on the Panini blockchain is absolutely limitless. Now, here at Card Block, I always feel like my goal is to try to find new ways to highlight just how unique the Panini blockchain is. And I think I found a new way. And I'm going to be using the Prizm CJ Stroud rookie card and the Jayden Daniels silver Prizm rookie card to highlight this. Now, I've used these two rookie cards as examples before, but I've used them in just a broader sense where we just compare the current population of them in the physical world as applied to what was minted on the blockchain in the NFT world. But today we're going to kind of look at a little more data to see exactly what's playing out in the physical world, how it relates to the blockchain, and why I just think it emphasizes more why we're just early in the Panini blockchain cycle. And we won't be having these conversations for long because the potential truly is limitless for where this market can go. Okay, so real quick, we are going to be using the Market Movers app to look at some of this PSA 10 information. I'm not affiliated with them, but in any means, I do pay for this. I'm probably not their target audience considering I do not collect in the physical world, but I will say that the platform is pretty cool and it has an abundance of information, which helps kind of in these particular scenarios, at least for my needs. So first things first, we are on the PSA 10 price history for the CJ Stroud Silver Prizm rookie card. And it doesn't take long before you can see, going back to the inception of the first sale for this particular PSA 10 card of January of 2024 up until the current date, this card has lost 80% of value from its first sale. It has gone down over 80%. We can even call it 81% probably. Now, if you're a collector who's going to point out that his second year wasn't as spectacular as his first year, and that's why this is happening, that's a ludicrous argument. That, to me, that doesn't hold any weight at all. Other than his touchdowns dropping off a little and his interceptions increasing a little, he still led the Texans to another 10-7 season. They made the playoffs, had a stellar first game against the Chargers, made it to the second round again, only losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. So if you're telling me that performance is indicative of losing 80% on basically your true rookie card in a PSA 10, which in the physical world is considered the end-all be-all, I think that argument is insane. And I think I've stumbled upon the real reason why this CJ Stroud has lost 80% of value. So if you're a physical collector and you could care less about NFTs, hang in there because I'm going to show you why it's lost that value. And also, I'm going to tie it into why you should be on the Panini blockchain if this is happening in the physical world. If we jump over to the population growth of the PSA 10, so for the same time frame, January 1st, 2024, up until current day, here is the population growth for the PSA 10 CJ Stroud Prizm Silver. As you can see, there is a steady uptick as time goes on. And then it starts to kind of plateau right around here, right around the 2100 mark. And the first little notch where it crosses the 2100 mark is February 16th of this year. So February 16th of this year is the first time it looks like the population crossed over the 2100 mark, and after that has kind of plateaued. Now, if we go back to the price history, we can see that there was a big decline in price right here, kind of started to level off, didn't know what to do with itself, and then starting right around September, the start of the NFL season last year, just had a huge drop off after that until it kind of hit a bottom down here and then started to plateau, as you can see here. Well, that bottom happens to be February 16th of 2025. So the exact time where the price bottomed out is when the population leveled out. That's that perfect intersection that created a $400 price. So it was never that the card was ever worth $2,000, $1,000, $1,500, whatever it may be. It was that the market was trying to figure out what the true scarcity and transparency of this particular card were, because there is none. Now we're back on the Panini blockchain, and we are with the CJ Stroud Prizm Silver rookie card. Same rookie card we were looking at in the PSA 10 version, but on the Panini blockchain, there are 280 total NFTs minted, 280, when we already know there's over 2,200 PSA 10s alone, and they're selling for $400. There's only 280 on the blockchain, and there's a floor price. You could buy one right now for $45. Again, I don't think that this is to reference that the Panini blockchain doesn't have demand, doesn't have a bright future. I think I'm just trying to highlight that we're early with this. But if it shows that in the physical sense, collectors in reality do want transparency and scarcity to find values for their collectibles, that's what the Panini blockchain offers right now with these, with transparency and scarcity that is unrivaled to what you see in the physical world. So now I'm just going to jump right into the Jayden Daniels Silver Prizm rookie card. And we, again, are on Market Movers to take a look at what's been going on with the sales of the PSA 10 since their inception, January of this year. And I get it. We don't have as much data as we do the CJ Stroud because we had over a year and a half. He's the year prior to Jayden Daniels. We don't have a full year yet. But there's already something very similar that we can see happening to the Jayden Daniels that happened to CJ Stroud. This particular rookie card, PSA 10, is down 44% since its first sale this year. 44% for Jayden Daniels, albeit quintessential rookie card in a PSA 10, which is the coup de grace in the physical world. Now, how does this happen? I think it probably correlates to what we saw happen to CJ Stroud, since we do have the benefit of having a little more time to see what the data is. The market just doesn't really know what the transparency or the scarcity is of this particular card yet. It's trying to figure that out, and it doesn't know. Now, so you might ask yourself, well, what happens when it does know that? What happens when it is a little more transparent? There is a little more scarcity. I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look. Now, this is a chart I pulled up of other parallels of this same Jayden Daniels rookie card, also in PSA 10s. Now, I don't know really anything in the physical world about these particular parallels. I just chose them because they're a little less scarce. They're not the golds of 10s or, the out of 20s or 30s. So I picked a blue ice out of 99, and I picked a blue wave out of 230. Again, these are PSA 10s. The one thing we can see that's completely different than the silver is that the values of the blue ice in the same period of time since January 1st of this year, they've gone up 6%. Not mind-blowing, but they haven't gone down 44%. The blue wave out of 230 has gone up 5%. Again, for Jayden Daniels, not mind-blowing, but it hasn't gone down 44%. Now, I would argue the reason that these have only gone up 6% and 5%, because even though the actual product itself, the card, is numbered, it adds a level of scarcity and transparency. There's another added level of scarcity and transparency that these particular cards have on top of them as well, which is the PSA graded 10. And if we see, there's only a pop of 11 for the blue ice out of 99, and there's a population of 32 for the blue wave out of 230. Now, it will be very interesting over the next 4 months as the year continues to play out, how these populations of the PSA 10s change. So even though there's built-in scarcity of the product itself, which apparently already helps the value of these cards because they're not going down. They're not necessarily going up, but they're not necessarily tanking. What's going to happen if more PSA 10s get added to the population? Are we going to start to see these kind of level off, or can Jayden Daniels play to a point where he just keeps adding to his popularity and his hype, and these continue to go up? And now back, here we are on the blockchain looking at Jayden Daniels Prizm Silver rookie card as an NFT, and we can see there are only 355 minted, of which I think some have been burned. 2 have been burned. So the current max circulation or the remaining supply is 353. And I think the floor price we're looking at is $31. Now, in the previous video, I highlighted there was a floor price of 28 that was quickly sold. I don't know if it had anything to do with the video, but there still went up for $31. And the scarcity and the transparency again on the blockchain is abundant. We know exactly what the supply is today. And if anything, next year, the supply will be lower than it is right now. It won't be higher. So we don't have to worry about where that intersection is between where the market's trying to figure out the price with the scarcity and transparency. The scarcity and transparency are baked in. It's crystal clear. It cannot be any more clear. Now it just comes down to the demand, the amount of collectors that come onto the blockchain, notice this type of transparency and scarcity, and decide that they want to collect the NFT version rather than the PSA 10 version. That's why I think right now we are just at a unique time where we are just early in this particular market. And I'm trying to highlight what I'm seeing coming in the next couple years right now to give you a chance to kind of get yourself acclimated to this particular market before the masses start to see what's really going on. So if you like this content, I hope you subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to beat me up in the comments, I welcome it. I respond to every single one of them, and I'll see you next time.